Any tips for training alone without a coach? What's the best pre-workout drink for boxing? That's easy. Should I practice both Orthodox and Southpaw? Do you feel any brain damage symptoms from all the years that you've boxed? Do you have any good breathing techniques for in between rounds? Yes! As a late starter, what would I focus on in my training that'll help me be successful as a professional boxer? Tony, you're at boxing. On this video, I'm going to be answering your questions, even the ones that's been insulting me. Tony, what's your thoughts on drop baiting? Drop baiting is a skill that's not really spoken about much, and that is where you would drop your guard to give your opponent the hopes that he can land a punch. For example, if I was fighting you here, I would drop my left hand on purpose in the hopes that you're going to throw your right hand, so then I can move back and counter punch. Now, I'm a fan of drop baiting, but you've got to be a high-level boxer to be able to do this. If you're in there with someone slow, definitely give it a try. Will you be making more videos about breaking down certain fighters and fights? Yes. If that's what you want, I will definitely do it. How do you feel about only training in the Orthodox stance? I'm a huge fan of this, and this is a question that I get often. Should I practice both stances, or should I just stick to one? Well, what I would always say is, until you perfect the Orthodox stance, or the Southpaw stance, if you're a Southpaw, then stick with that before you try and do the other one. Because what will end up happening, you'll start to get into bad habits that will take a long time to get out of. That being said, there is some fighters who are naturally talented who can do both Orthodox and Southpaw, but with most boxers out there, including me, until you can absolutely perfect your jab or perfect your movement or not get hit in an Orthodox stance, why would you try and box the other way if you can't do it right the correct way? What's the most helpful boxing advice you've ever had? After I qualified for the Olympics, I remember I was sitting in a restaurant one day and my phone rang and it was off an unknown number. So I answered, I was like, hello? And I heard on the other side, hey Tony, it's Audley. I'm like, Audley? There's only one Audley I ever heard of at the time, which was Audley Harrison, who was the Olympic gold medalist from the 2000 Olympics. And I spent about 30 minutes on the call with him, and he gave me some amazing advice, which was all about visualization, how to visualize your fight before you went in the fight. And I've done a full video on this telling you how I had success in the Olympics by using Audley Harrison's method. You should definitely watch that video after this one and learn all about the visualization techniques. When should I slip and when should I roll? You should be slipping out the way of straight punches and you should be rolling out the way of hooks. But even better than both of them is moving your feet backwards. Because if you're slipping a punch, that means you're in range to get hit. If you're rolling a punch, that means you're in range to get hit. If you're stepping back out the way of a punch, you're not in range to get hit. That's why I'm a big fan of footwork, but there's one problem with that. When you're moving backwards, it's way harder to throw a counter punch compared to if you slip when you're in range, you can come back with that lead hook. If you roll when you're in range, you can come back with that backhand hook. So slipping and rolling's definitely got its pros and cons. And one more thing, when you're Orthodox and you're slipping out the way of an Orthodox jab, you're better off slipping to your right, because if you slip to your left, you're then coming on range for your opponent's backhand, which is dangerous. Do you have any good breathing techniques for in between rounds? Yes, I've got the perfect breathing technique. And what that is, when you sit down at the end of the round, or you're probably not sitting down if you're sparring, you shouldn't be, you should be standing up. What you need to do is take control of your breathing. Now, let's say you get back to the corner, or you're on the heavy bag, and after that round, you're breathing heavy. When you breathe like that, you're basically letting your breathing take control of you. But what you need to do is take control of your breathing. Now, the way you do that at the end of the round, you're going to take 3 deep breaths and hold it for 1 or 2 seconds before you let it out, like this. Now, when you do that 3 times, what you're doing is taking control of your breathing. And this will help slow down your heart rate. And then after them 3 deep breaths, then you can get back to your normal breathing. And I did this in between rounds before I qualified for the Olympics, even in the Olympics, even as a professional boxer. But it's important when you do it, get as much oxygen in your body with that first big deep breath. Just like that. What's the best way to find a gym? I want to do this for a hobby and learn the right techniques. The best way to find a good gym is by word of mouth. If you know anyone else in the area that is doing boxing. The second best way is by using Google reviews. Searching on there, reading the reviews and seeing what looks good for you. Another thing that you can do when you go in the gym is see how good the people who's in there look. If they all look terrible like this, then maybe keep away from that gym. Any tips with dealing with a taller, aggressive guy in sparring? Yes, I've got lots of tips for this, and I'm not going to tell them all on here. I've created a full video with 10 tips to get the better of a taller guy. You should definitely watch that one. Any tips for training alone without a coach? Yeah, and this is something that a lot of people are doing now, training alone without a coach, which is great. But the problem with that is you tend to pick up bad habits, because to you might feel like you're looking like $1 million, but you might be doing something wrong, like dropping that non-punching hand or not bringing your hands back to your face correctly. So what you need to do is identify the mistakes that you're making. And then once you've identified them, you've got to drill out any bad habits. And then after you've drilled out the bad habits, you need to execute your new form and technique every single session. From there, you need to reanalyze yourself to see how you're getting on. And then, my friend, you will level up. Now, all of that might seem a lot. And what I've done, I've created a free video package where I show you exactly how to do this step by step. And I'll also give you 10 workouts that you can do to help you train better without a trainer to perfect your punches. You can scan here or click the link below and I'll send you this for totally free. How to control your nerves during a fight. Listen, you're about to fight someone else. Someone's trained for weeks to fight you, to punch you in the face. They are training to knock you out. You're going to get in the ring in front of tons of people to fight. Now, if you weren't a little bit nervous, you would be a little bit crazy. Even after I had over 100 fights, I still did get nervous when I was getting in the ring to fight. It's natural, but there is ways to calm the nerves and deal with them. That's the visualization techniques I was telling you about that Olympic gold medalist Audley showed me. And the video to watch after this will give you that step by step. But if nerves are something that you're dealing with, the other questions on here will also really help you. Is there an ideal amount of warm-up and stretching that a boxer should do? Well, it all depends on you as the boxer, but one thing I'll say that you definitely need to do is warm up. Whether it is 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you need to get your body warmed up before every single session, because without doing that, there's a high risk of injury. Also, you're not going to perform to your best if your muscles is not primed for the boxing session that you're about to do. And that's for the cool down and stretching. Same thing applies. We need to be cooling down. We need to be stretching. This is not just a good time to recover your body, but also a great time to reflect on the boxing session that you've just done. Now, as for times with the cool down, I'm not that concerned as long as it's at least 5 minutes and you are actually doing it. Finding motivation is getting very difficult, especially for people who suffer from depression. Have you got any tips to navigate for a poor mindset for motivation? Well, Anthony, as you know, boxing definitely does help with depression, anxiety, great for your mindset. When you are feeling down and you might feel like you're not wanting to work out, the hardest thing is to get to the gym. Now, if you've ever suffered with any of these mental issues, I have, you will know this. Once you get to the gym and you start warming up and you start working out, you will all of a sudden start feeling better in your mindset. And this is not just a coincidence that this happens. It's actually scientifically proven, because your body releases chemicals that make you feel good, like your endorphins and serotonin. So mate, watch this video. Listen to me, go to the gym, and you will feel a difference, my friend. And by the way, I'm not discrediting how you feel or anyone. This is normal. Everybody's different. You might need extra help than what I've just said. But I feel like if you do that and you feel like you need the motivation to go, get there. Get your shoes next to the door and go, and that'll definitely help. I want to do boxing for self-defense and get in shape, but I'm in a small apartment with my wife and kids. Have you got any tips? Mate, shadow boxing will help you get good at self-defense, help you get in shape, give you a great workout, and teach you boxing as well. All you need to do that is a couple of square feet. You don't have to be bouncing around a big ring or a big gym like this to do it. Just make a little bit of room in your living area or bedroom. Do some shadow boxing. If you've got a mirror in front of you, even better. I've got lots of shadow boxing workouts on this channel that you can follow along with. Is it damn difficult being cool, like all the time? Mate, I'll take that compliment. Thank you. And mate, it's not difficult at all. I'm just like a natural, you know? So stupid. How to drill head movement, put it back, when you're practicing alone. This is easy. You've just got to get into the habits of moving your head before and after every single punch or combination that you throw. And when you're thinking about this all the time, it will come more natural to you. And what we need to do is think about it and then do it. Think about it, do it, think about it, do it until we can get the point of being able to do it without having to think about it. As a late starter, what would I focus on in my training that'll help me be successful as a professional boxer? I think you just need to focus on what every boxer, no matter what level they're at, needs to focus on. And that is the basic fundamentals. That solid footwork, that great jab, that great head movement before and after every punch. And as well, because you are a late starter, I would say your conditioning is a big thing, because me starting at 10 years old, fighting all the way through I was 27, I had conditioning for years. So you might not have that, so you've got to really build up your conditioning. And you do that by boxing more and training more. And I get asked, how do I get fitter at boxing? How do I build my stamina at boxing? And the answer is by boxing. Yes, running's great, circuit training's great, but boxing, to get better at boxing and fitter at boxing, is the key. Any tips on eating and hydration? And what is the best pre-workout drink? Yes, I've got big tips on this. Obviously, you need to eat healthy. I'm not going to sit here for 20 minutes and explain what healthy eating is. You should know this already. But one thing I would recommend eating about 45 minutes before your training session is apple. They're great for a pre-workout snack. I used to have these all the time before I would train. Now, as for drinks and hydration, there's one thing I wish I had when I was boxing, but it wasn't available. But I drink it now every single day on a morning. I mix it in with me water, and that's Element. This is a hydration drink that's full of sodium, magnesium and potassium. Gives our body exactly what we need to hydrate. And it doesn't contain any sugar, which most pre-workout and post-workout drinks have in them. Even when I was training for the Olympic Games, our electrolyte drink was full of sugar, because at that time, this company wasn't around. And if it was around and I was drinking Element before and after my sessions, maybe, just maybe, that bronze medal might have been a different colour. But it wasn't. So what you can do right now, get fully hydrated on this drink. And I'm so happy that they're sponsoring this video. And if you go to drinklmnt.com/boxing, what they will do is, when you order, they're going to send you also a big free sample packet full of different flavours as well, for free. And one more thing, what this company does that is unbelievable. If for some reason you don't think you got good value for money, this product wasn't amazing, they'll give you your money back, and you don't even have to send the box back in. So go to drinklmnt.com/boxing, get fully hydrated for your everyday life and from your boxing sessions. I swear, this is amazing. I love it. And this is why I'm not only drinking it myself, but I also give it to me children. We're out here in Bali where it's red hot. I've seen your videos in the past where you pivot the back leg when throwing your lead hook. Most people move the front leg first. What's the advantage? If you're moving your front leg before you move your back leg, it takes longer. You can throw the hook while you're pivoting without even having to move that front leg, but it's very advanced and it takes a lot of practice. What's the best order to learn boxing in? I have zero knowledge. Watch my video on how to box in 4 minutes. That'll take you through it, my friend. I find myself closing my eyes every time a punch comes to my face in sparring. What can I do? This is very common when you're a beginner at sparring. The more you spar, the less likely you are of taking punches. But if you think about it, when you are a beginner, somebody's coming straight towards your face, it's a natural reaction to blink or to close your eyes. But like I said, the more you do it, the more experience you'll get, the more used to it you'll get, and you will stop closing your eyes. I'm 53 years old. I have shoulder pain. I always warm up. I want to get back into boxing. Any advice? I'm not 53 years old, but I've had shoulder pain for some time now. What I did, I had a cortisone injection, which I'm not recommending at all. People say you shouldn't get them. But that really did fix the pain in my shoulder for some time. But it's just kind of like a band-aid. Your shoulder pain will come out back. Instead, you should find a physio that can do manual work where they get right in there, and that might sort the job out. But it's definitely fixable. If you were out of shape and I told you you were fighting in 6 weeks, what would you do straight away? First thing I would do is go to the bloody gym. But I wouldn't get the car there. I would run there. But what's important with this is that you don't panic and you don't start training 100 miles an hour straight away. Because what will happen, your body body will get so stiff if you're out of shape and you go fully into training. Instead, what you need to do is ease into it. And this will help your body recover better and get the most out of every single session. But you need to start like now. I'm a fencer and I believe boxing training will help me with my speed. Is there any workouts that I can focus on? Now, I've always thought this: fencing is great for boxers. Boxing is great for fencing. If you see their footwork and how fast fencers are and their reactions, I think it's a great sport that kind of collides with boxing a little bit. And my advice would be footwork drills on the agility ladder. Any tips on how to land more combinations in sparring? I can do it on the bags, but I struggle to do it in the ring. Well, that's because it's so hard to land a 1-2 hook, slip, hook body, hook head, 2. A combination like that in a fight or in a sparring session. That being said, you should always practice them on the bags, these longer combinations, as long as you're doing a good form of technique. Because what will happen, it will help you when you are coming to spar, and let's say if you do slip a shot in that split second, you're already used to firing back that hook to the body, or slipping to the right from the jab, coming back with your other punches. So you should always practice these longer combinations, but if you're expecting them to land in sparring or fights, chances are they'll not. But one thing you should do is try it. Try it when you're in the ring. Try and throw the combinations. Just see what happens. And if it doesn't work, why did it not work? Analyze your sparring sessions and find out, why did it not? Was it too slow? Was your opponent too fast? Did he move his feet when you threw it? Did you not feint before? Were you looking for power in that? But them's the things that you need to analyze to be able to do things like this. Is it safe to shadow box with dumbbells? Yes, it is safe, and I recommend it. What I used to do when I was shadow boxing with dumbbells, for my 3 minutes, I would shadow box with them for the first 45 seconds, put them down, then do a 45 seconds without, then pick them up, 45 seconds with, put them down, 45 seconds without. Now, what's important here is you use light dumbbells. I'm talking 2 pounds, 3 pounds, even 1 pound. What I see is people using 5 pound weights or 6 pound weights or even heavier, and then they're trying to throw punches and they're incorrect and they're that heavy, they're dropping their arms and pulling their arms down. You never want to do that. I stopped boxing training 12 years ago. I quit alcohol 3 months ago. What's the best way of getting in shape? Well, diet is the best way of getting in shape. You can train as much as you want, box as much as you want. If your diet is not great, you're never going to get in great shape. Now, if your diet is good, then what I would recommend is start with 45-minute walks. And this is going to start you off in that fitness journey. Then maybe do some shadow boxing if it's boxing that you want to get into. But because you've quit alcohol 3 months ago, I don't know how much you drank alcohol. For me, when I quit drinking alcohol in 2020, I didn't even think about training. I just focused on not drinking alcohol anymore. And then after a year, then I started picking up my exercise light with the walks. Tony, how did you end up marrying the most stunning, beautiful woman on earth? And how many bozos did you send to the ER for trying to get fresh with her? But I didn't beat anyone up and send them to the ER because that's where she was working. I want to keep them bozos away from my beautiful wife. I actually went to school with Sarah when we were 5 years old. And then we started dating when in our early 20s. And yeah, we've never looked back since. But I hope you ask her the same question as you've asked me. But hey, Sarah, how did you end up with the most muscliest guy in the world who's really smart and great at making YouTube? Now, behind every good man is a great woman, and she is a great woman. And this is something that I would recommend you for boxing. If you've got a woman who is supporting you, that's great. I couldn't think of anything worse than going home after a gym workout and having someone nagging you in your ear, like telling you you're always bringing in these wet, sweaty clothes. You're never coming out with me and my friends because you're trying to rest and recover for your sessions. And when you're really tired, you want someone who's going to support you and help look after you. And she did that for me. And that's why we just merged together. Advice for you: if you've got a great woman in your life, it will make your life better. Like, why wouldn't you? This is the person who you're going to spend the most time with in the world. If you're having fights with them all the time, if you're not on the same page with them, if you're not supporting each other in everyday life and supporting each other's dreams, goals, and ambitions and not giving them loads of respect, what's the point in being together? You only live once, so make sure it's with the right person. What's the best way to slip the jab? I tell my team in Vegas all the time to watch the shoulder, but I might as well be speaking Russian because they never get it. Well, I think what you're saying is correct, watch the shoulder. But what I would do is try and tell them to watch the glove rather than the shoulder, although what you're saying is right. But if your eyes are on my shoulder there, checking out the queen, and my hand comes out fast, boom, that might prevent them from slipping it. But if the eyes is glued to the hands, and then they could possibly slip. But if you tell them that, they'll probably think you're rushing as well. But there's different drills that you can do, like the slip drills, getting used to moving your head before and after every punch. And then the reaction drills with the tennis ball, when you're throwing the tennis ball at their head against the wall and they've got to move out the way. Doesn't matter what jump rope you're using and the length of it, if you're jumping rope for stamina. Well, you see, you've got these ropes now that's really thick and heavy, like battle rope. And I've tried jumping with them, and you can. And that really does help build muscles in your arms, but I'm not a fan. I like using my jump ropes more for speed and endurance. And because we're talking about what jump rope to buy, there's only one. And that's my 2.0 jump rope. That's got spin technology, so your ropes never get tangled. And you can get one of these from TonyJeffries.com. How often should I train boxing? I started 2 months ago. This all depends on your goal. Do you want to be a world champion? Do you want to just lose some weight? Do you want to train for self-defense, learn right techniques in case someone picks on you when you're on a night out maybe? It's not one size fits all, but one thing I will say, if you want to get great at boxing and you're training 2 times a week, that will help you get good at boxing. But just think about how much faster you'll get good at boxing if now you're training 4 times a week. It's twice as many sessions. You're going to get better twice as fast as long as you're doing the correct stuff. Tony, is there any supplements that you take daily? Yes, I'm always thinking about my brain health, and I've done lots of research in the best supplements to take for brain health. And I found out that as we age, our NAD levels drop. And this is what gives your cells energy in your body. So I did more research and I found a great company that was recommended by my friend who's a neuroscientist, Andrew Hubman, on the Joe Rogan podcast. And this was Renew by Science. So I reached out to them and I was speaking to them about what's good for me and me needs. And they've got a product called NMN, what you easily scoop and you put under your tongue. And this helps improve your NAD levels. And since then, I started working with the company and they're sponsoring today's video. So I recommend you do your own research on this product. And when you do and you want it, go to renewbyscience.com and use code BOXING at the checkout and you'll save 10% off this. Honestly, I can't recommend it highly enough. I think it's great. And I'm not just promoting this because I'm working with them and they're sponsoring today's video. I promote this stuff anyway. It's absolutely brilliant. But like I said, do your own research. And if you get some from Renew by Science and you don't like it, they'll give you your money back. Click the link below and you can check it out. Do you have a favorite piece of equipment that you trust to work out on every day? My favorite piece of equipment in a gym is a double end bag. I absolutely love this. It's great for your speed and for your timing. It's great for hand-eye and foot coordination. It's a lot of fun and it's very satisfying when you hit the ball really hard. Tony, you're at boxing. I'm going to kill you. Why are you seeing that? No. If I listen to everything that people said online, I don't know where I'd be in life right now. But 99 times out of 100, your comments are amazing. If you've got any comments or questions that you want me to answer on my next video like this, please ask them below. But for now, you need to click here and watch this video next, where I tell you about the secret that helps you with your mind and deal with nerves for whether a sport or a fight. Click here and watch this video next.